Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Atmosphere, good morning, buddy. Watermelon, good morning. It's Monday, the 26th of August. We're heading towards that month, y'all. September. We're going to remember. Well, hopefully, it's some good memories, right? Because, man, let me tell y'all, some of us are entrapped by some memories we don't want to get rid of, or some that we can't get rid of, right? So, a lot of us are entrapped by, childhood situations. Some of us are entrapped by, you know, well, I don't know if you call teenage childlike or childhood, but yeah, those situations come, right? Most of them are not good. Most of them are of a traumatic experience. And sometimes when you deal with trauma, it freezes you there. It freezes you right there where you at. Lady Shay, top of the morning, good morning, right? So when you deal with trauma, it forces you to stand still. It's if the trauma is that traumatic, it'll allow you to sit there and not move a muscle in your mind. But in the meantime, physically you're still going on in life. Physically you're functioning. You're functioning through your trauma. You're entrapped, but you're functioning through there, right? Whether it's somebody being hit by a car, somebody being physically abused by a parent, excuse me, as far as whoopings, or even to the most extremes. I don't want to mention it, but that trauma, it'll leave you right there. It's like you're in prison. You're entrapped. You're in prison. So people that go to prison, if you ever spoke to somebody that went to prison before, they can tell you their mind is shut at a certain age that they go to prison. And it may not be revised or removed until they come home. It takes the work of 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 craftiness in order for you to be functioning as a normal person when you're entrapped. It's a very tough situation to go through, and a lot of us fail at it, right? So how do we advance in that entrapment? A lot of us go through situations and we see nothing but trees, and we'll think we're in a forest, but you could be in your own backyard. You can't distinguish the two. You don't understand that, hey, there's two, is a difference between the two, but because you are entrapped, you only got blinders and vision of that one scenario, that worst case scenario. Nothing could ever be, nothing could ever change, nothing could ever increase. There's no light that can ever penetrate that darkness that you entrapped in, that trauma that you have gone through in your life, right? You know, and I say shout out to YouTube, right? Because sometimes even this little bit of light that we have, right, it can allow you to see a better vision than what you had before it. That little glimpse of light. We sometimes we forget that a little bit of light can defeat a whole lot of darkness. There's battle that's going on within us, but because we're entrapped in our traumas, we don't even know that there's battles going on within us each and every day, right? So how do we advance? You advance by taking one step at a time, right? Whether it's you understanding that, yo, I need help, whether it's the fact that, yo, I am going through something. It's not about orders that I am giving these suggestions. It's just the fact that it may be one of them that allow you to make the first step, right? We have to understand that traumas will not, Miss T, good morning. Trauma will not allow you to even understand that you have taken the first step because you're so entrapped that you feel like you're stuck in quicksand. You're stuck in the mud. There's no progression going on in your life, right? But there can be people right there, right? There's people that could be really looking out for you, but you only see an ulterior motive. Why are you being so kind to me? Why are you offering, you know, a simple prayer for me? Why are you why are you being this generous with yourself to me? And it could be only just because somebody wants to lift you up, brighten up your day. But instead of advancing on that, we're so entrapped that we're looking for the negative, we're looking for the ulterior motive to, no, you want something else out of that. And that could be all that it is. We have to understand that we are so entrapped in our traumas and our doom and glooms and our situations that we can't even look up to the hills from which our help will come. Highest elevation could get us out of the lowest point, but we don't even see that because we only see the lowest point. We only see the peaks and the valleys instead of the highest of heights. We have turned our entrapments into mountains, and now we're afraid to climb them because we don't know what's on the other side of the mountain. Now, if somebody's here to offer you an advancing way, somebody makes a way out of no way for you, right? So if you live, for example, if you live in the Northeast or the Midwest and the snowstorm comes, right? And somebody makes a way for you to come out of your home, 9 times out of 10, that person may say thank you and stay in the house because they are so afraid that the rest of the roads are not looking up the way that they did it. Why? Because they didn't do it. I was saying last night on Words panel, shout out to the Word, that sometimes we get in our own way, right? We get in our way because if we ain't if we're not understanding the word plays that we use in our everyday life, sometimes it hinders us from going forward, right? So if we're not using the affirmation words like I am, I will, I shall, we are just stuck in a rut. And even if we use it at our low energy that we have, it'll never work because we're not even believing that we can and we shall and we will. So even if somebody throws you a raft in the ocean, right? You can hold on to it, but you are waiting for the air to deflate out of the raft. All because you have that entrapment mindset in your body, in your mind, in your everyday life. How do we overcome it? If somebody's trying to reel you in from the water, why are you fighting it? We have to get out our own way. We are born alone. We believe that we'll die alone. That don't mean that in the middle of birth and death that we are supposed to be alone. We are supposed to have a support system of individuals that would want you to have something that is better than what you had before you. And I do understand that a lot of the time, Lady Shay, that is true. Forgiveness of self is a way to start. I agree. But what if you don't have that forgiveness of self? Can you start? If you don't understand it's not your fault just because you were I don't even want to say participant. That's going to sound very rude. But Just because you was part of the scene, it doesn't mean you are the cause of it. It's like if somebody hits the back of your car, it's not my fault if you hit the back of my car. You wasn't paying attention to what's in front of you, right? But if we don't understand that in order to start, we have to admit and forgive ourselves for going through a situation or admit that we are going through a situation, the entrapment feels like a caged bird. A caged bird can't even spread his wings and fly. A butterfly can't. A butterfly is not a butterfly until it breaks open the cocoon. You're still you're still morphing into. You're converting into. But a lot of us is not we're not even converting in our entrapment. We are just stewing in a mess that we can't get away from. How do we get away from that? By seeing, if we ain't learned nothing from this from the past, if we are let out of the entrapment and go forward, let's see how far it goes. But in human nature, we understand that if we don't know nothing else, we go back to what we know. And for a lot of us, we go back into an entrapped state of being because we are so afraid of what's out there. It's just like when the slaves were let go, right? They was emancipated. Even though in Texas they was fighting 2 years later talking about there's still slavery. There's people that didn't want to leave the plantation because they was afraid of what was out there. So now you just working for less than a penny to make just to have room and board because you're afraid to go out there and invest in yourself. When you advance, you are investing in yourself. You are investing for a betterment of yourself. You are believing that you can be a better version of the entrapment that you have just left. You have to stand up in order to take the first step. Otherwise, you will continue to crawl. Atmosphere, I agree. I always say this, right? You got to stand. When you crawl, you got to have enough balance to stand up. And then when you stand, you will be able to take your first step. Riaz, good afternoon. And when you take your first step, you have to be balanced enough to take the next one. And then when you get your balance, you can begin to walk. And when you begin to walk, you can begin to run. And when you could begin to run, you could begin to sprint. But a lot of us are still in the crawling stages because we are stuck in, and the entrapment has made us infants in the new transition of life. In the advancement of life, we have to crawl. So you have to crawl out of there. So now, not to be like a rodent or a rat or anything like that. You got to find the crevices to break through so you can begin to crawl away from that darkness into the light. And hopefully it's good light because sometimes we could be crawling into the wrong light and still be entrapped in darkness. You understand? So we have to understand that just because we getting away from something, we have to have a purpose of going which way we had to go. So we as individuals have to understand that we have nothing to what's the expression? There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Right? If you can overcome your fear, you can begin your life. There's nothing that's holding you back now. The fear has been overcame, right? You have risen above fear. And there's nothing but space and opportunity for you to explore new land, right? If we're going to get biblical, when the people left Egypt and they went over they passed the Red Sea, they parted the seas and all of these things. They say it's the Red Sea. Other people will say something different. Neither here or there. But when they got past that embankment of water and they crossed it, they still had to go through the wilderness. It doesn't mean that when you take the steps in the right directions, you're not going to still have to fight. This is why I tell everybody the race is never given to the swift nor the strong, but those who endure. What does that mean? Because you still have a wilderness to go through. Because you're still confused when you come out of your entrapment. You have to be able to understand that there's going to be newness for you, and that's going to confuse you. Sometimes you have to go through a circle to understand that you're in a circle. So when you have those situations, and when you're able to stand up and take those steps, you can make the steps towards advancement. And when you make those steps towards advancement, you will be pursuing your land of milk and honey, not physically, but maybe emotionally. Maybe not emotionally, but maybe spiritually. There's a land with your name on it. How bad do you want that land? How deserving do you feel that you are? But guess what? When your mind is entrapped, you feel like you are worthless. You feel like you're worthy of nothing. And when somebody does cross your path and show you that type of love and show you that compassion that you've been craving and yearning and desiring all of your life, I don't know what I did to deserve this. Do you think it's the attention that holds someone back? Lady Shay, I believe it's fear. I believe the fear of the unknown. That's why I was having that conversation the last time, right? Because what you do, like people are afraid of death because it's unknown what happened. But when you get spiritual, well, you either going to heaven or hell. That's even more fearful because if you know you've been doing things wrong, you fear being burned up, even though you can't physically feel it. It's an entrapment that you have placed into your life. So I don't think it's the attention. I don't think nobody wants that type of attention unless, well, let me not. I'm not going to say no one. There are people that like to have pity parties. There are people that like to have victim Olympics. But an overcomer is not one of them people. An overcomer is going to say, you know what? I want to have my party when I touch my victorious lane, right? My 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 overcoming is when I can get to a solidified foundation, a new one, instead of living off the old one that was all dark and unlit and purified with nothing of happiness. It's time for us to search our lands of milk and honey, or whatever it is that you desire. You have to make the first step. We all out here could want the best for you, but we could only want that if you desire it. If you are a negative person and you come to me and I give you positive advice, it's not going to be the hill of beans to you. Well, how do I tie my shoe? Do the two loops, cross, pull it together. It ain't going to mean nothing to you if you don't apply it. We have to understand that our ways are not the best ways. I'm sorry. It's a truth. This is why people, as Miss T was saying in her live, we have to have a village because our ways are not the best ways all the time. You may have an answer for some things, but an answer for all is not. It's not probable. We need somebody to give us a piece of advice that's going to say, you know what, we can do this here or there. We need somebody like Prez and Lisa J to show us how to make $1 out of 15 cents in the stock market. We need somebody like Lady Shay to open our eyes in a different perspective on everyday things of life. We need somebody like Watermelon to say, you know what, even in our ugliness, we can put some beauty in us if we just make ourselves up. We need people like you guys. Realists, what up though? Good morning. We need like, you know, I know I ain't gonna fuss with you realists, but I'm gonna use you real quick, right? Sometimes we think that we're not advancing people with the things that we do, right? Like realist was saying that he's ready to go back into, uploading and things like that. He's about to do what he do best. And I just had to tell him, you know what, realist, you're gonna be a blessing whatever you do. Whatever you do. Like, if he decides to go back into the battle reps session, he's gonna bless somebody because at the end of the day, when you're doing something out of the pureness of your heart, you're free. You're don't laugh at me, Lady Shay. You're independent, so that means you can give it freely. Don't tell Word I said that because he has a fit. But when you are able to do things freely, you can advance yourself from entrapment. You don't feel obligated to do something that the masses want. You're doing it because it makes you feel like you're doing something good. It makes it feel like you're doing something to progress somebody's advancement from their entrapment. People are when people are genuinely nice, you should be able to see it, feel it, observe it, and it should be authentic. I know on here a lot of people fake it till they make it. I know a lot of times that people say one thing and go about it another way. Shay Love, good morning. I understand all of that part. But as long as you feel entrapped, you're not going to advance yourself in anything that you set your mind to because you don't have the mind frame to be advancing yourself. You're trapped. There's no way in the world that you could flap your wings in a cage and the cage is going to fly. I'm not into the Red Bull commercials. I'm not into that because they could just draw something. That's not real life. Real life is when you got to fight. You fight, you scratch, you crawl to get away from things that is hindering you from growing. This is why God is always telling us you are a babe in his eye because as long as you understand that you can absorb information, you can absorb knowledge, you can advance yourself. Once you're grown, you're not growing anymore. When you're grown, you stunt your own growth. Could you just imagine if an infant was grown at 6 months, is only 3 feet tall. He think he know everything. She thinks she know everything. He ain't been through nothing in life, but you know everything. That's not how this life works. The darkness of this world does exist. I don't care if you don't believe it. Some of us may not believe it because some of us ain't been through the hells and the losses and things like that. I understand entrapment. For a long time, I was very selfish with myself because there was no parents for me to lean on. So I had to stunt my own growth because I thought I knew what the hell I was doing. And in reality, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I didn't have a clue because I didn't know. But as long as you in that entrapped mind, you think your way is the best way and you have no clue. You cannot absorb information and keep it to yourself. You entrapping the information. You entrapping wisdom. This is why I tell people all the time, if I believe that you can reach at least one person, I will share you out. And I don't have a problem doing that. It ain't because I rock with you. It ain't because of none of that, even though that is true, because I feel like I am gaining something from you, but I also feel like somebody else can gain something from you. So I will, of course, I would share Shay Love out. Of course, I will share Lady Shay out. I will share anybody out that if it means something, it may help somebody somewhere down the line. I don't care who it is, even if it's somebody that y'all may consider a foe to you. It may make sense to somebody out there and it may help them. Whether it's right for me, it may not be right for me, but it may make sense for somebody else. So that's why I do the things that I do. I want to advance people from their entrapment. That's like, I was saying this earlier, right? It don't matter if I'm on the rooftop and you in the water and I throw down a lifeline for you. You may not take that lifeline because it's not your lifeline. You feel like it's not your idea. It's not it didn't come from you. So it's not going to save you. I got solid ground above us, but you want to stay in the valley. Why? Why would you want to stay in the valley and the valley is being filled up with water? People got to understand if God has placed something in your heart, you can't keep refusing what he's telling you. And then when you don't hear his voice anymore, or that voice, you are you're confused. How? The best way to be a child of God is to be obedient. I tell people all the time that obedience is better than sacrifice. Sometimes the obedience is the sacrifice, but people don't understand what that means. If you be obedient, you are taking yourself out of the way in order to sacrifice your goal to be completed. It may not be your way, no. But if you're obedient, the goal can be completed because you sacrificing yourself to be removed out of the situation. Because it's not your idea, you're going to stay there. We got too many people that want to be Jonah instead of being Paul. You got too many people saying people ain't worthy of a situation, leave them entrapped. Nobody should be entrapped. If they want to be entrapped, leave the pamphlet at their door. Leave the information at their door. If they don't want it, then that's on them. But as long as you try your best to advance somebody from their entrapment, you did your part. We all can't, I get it, we all can't be the answer, but we can all give advice to one day somebody picking it up for it to be somebody else's answer or somebody's pull up or somebody's get out of entrapment free card. However you want to look at it. It may sound like a joke, but I'm serious. There are people that's entrapped and don't even understand that they're entrapped. There are people dwelling in poop and not know that it's poop. They may think it's just mud. They may have been in it so long they don't smell the stench because they're entrapped. They're so used to entrapment that they don't know what freedom looks like. They don't know what victory looks like. I know people don't want to be victims, but as long as you stay entrapped, you're gonna be in a victim mentality. I'm not trying to say this to hurt anybody, but let's just look at it this way, right? If you are entrapped in a trauma, are you victim or victorious of the trauma? I'ma ask y'all. I'ma ask the chat. If y'all feel you a victim, if you feel like victorious in an entrapment, put a one up. If you feel like you a victim, put two. And then that will answer your own question. Because if you are in, who wants to be in cage? Who wants to be in bondage? That type of bondage. Let me say it like that. Who wants to be in that type of bondage? To where everything looks pitch black and the sun is out. Like right now, I'm looking up in the sky. There's no clouds in the sky. But if you saying it's pitch dark and I see daylight, we're looking at we have two different views on things, right? And that's the thing that we have to understand. If you see everything as doom and gloom, you're in trap. You have to understand that your work matters. Kimaj, good morning. You have to understand that your entrapment It's what's it's holding you down. It's keeping you in bondage. It's that unequally yoked that has your neck chained up, that has your ankle in a ball and chain scenario. True, it's a lot of work. Steady your way and pave it. Discipline to find the new things daily. Every one step at a time, one day at a time. If Rome wasn't built in a day, neither is the fact that you can overcome a situation. It's not going to just happen overnight. I can tell you that from my own experience. It'll be my opinion, but somebody may come and say that it happened for them. If it don't work, it don't work. Try another way. But the goal is to get from your entrapment and to advance from it. Stop sitting in the entrapment state of mind. Allow your mind to be free. I tell you all the time, if y'all really understood how much of a storehouse you was, you wouldn't be entrapping yourself in doom and gloom. Each one of us that are here, we have a special gift that God has given us. Some of us are multi-talented that God has given us these gifts. But if you never use any of it, how would you know? We got to stop the same way we bottle up our feelings, we are bottling up our gifts. And if we're bottling up our gifts, we are entrapping it instead of it being allowed for everyone to see. The beauty of a gift is for everyone, for someone to receive it. And guess what? Each and every one of y'all is a gift. Each and every one of y'all is a blessing to somebody. It may not be to our immediate persons around us, but we have to understand Jesus wasn't accepted by his own either. Someone out there is going to want your advancement because they understand, they see the blessing in you even if you don't see it in yourself. But it's up for you to come out of the entrapment to see that you are the blessing. We can encourage and encourage and encourage and encourage. We could drop lifeline after lifeline after lifeline. If that person doesn't receive it, there's nothing we can do. This is why I tell people all the time, if I am not helping you, I will step away from you. Because if I'm not, there's no need for me to, I'm a hindrance. If I'm a hindrance, why do I need to be around you? If I want something good for you, you cannot serve two masters, everybody. And I know the Bible said that. And I know it to be true. Even if you have balance, one day you're gonna like one or the over the other, and vice versa, right? But you have to understand that there's gonna be one that you're gonna like more than the other, whether it's good or evil. I just prefer it to be good. And you can manage the bad. You can keep the bad to a minimum. That's why we fall short of the glory because we're going to sin. But the goal is to sin less and less every day. And if we're sinning less and less, we are getting from the entrapment mind of sinning, meaning we are striving to do the right things in our life. And every day that you strive to do the right things in life, you advancing from your entrapments. If your vice is alcohol, you do what you can to advance away from alcohol. If it's a hard drug, you're going to do that. I get it. People say marijuana and weed is not a hard thing, but an addiction is an addiction. Even if you addicted to chocolate chip cookies, it's an addiction. But if you're trying to do the right thing and advance from it, for you not to be quote unquote stricken with diabetes or stricken with alcoholism or stricken from that vice, you have to advance from it. You have to get from that entrapped mind that need is a need, and it's not a need. It's just something that you highly desire, but it doesn't mean that you need it. Y'all understand that part? Just because you desire something is not a necessity. What you need is what you need. What you need is to be able to breathe. What you need is to eat, so that your body don't get weary on you. What you need is that water sometimes, because you can go longer without food than water, right? If you're fasting, you understand that. If you intermittent fast, you know that. But when you do that, you are getting rid of the entrapments of the toxins that's inside of you to advance your health. We need to do that with our minds. We need to do that with our hearts. We need to do that with our souls. But it's up to each individual to go through a situation. Just like we was having a conversation, it's on an individual basis. So too is this. It's on an individual basis to say, you know what, I'm tired of being entrapped. I'm tired of being the caged bird. I'm tired of being the caged lion that only be seen by people. I want to be free. I want to be in the wild. We cannot worry about once we get in the wild, do we remember what we used to do? If that's what you desire, if that's what you need to do, you're gonna figure it out how to get there. The problem is we're so afraid that we're gonna fail, we won't even try. That's the entrapment mind. Because we're that afraid to go on out there and see where we can go, we will be rather sit in a cage than rather open the cage or finding a way to open the cage and get up out of there. This is not the Paul scenario where because God opened the door, he don't want you to get up out of there. He wants you to get up out of there. He wants you to get up out of that entrapment. Paul wasn't entrapped. He made a decision to stay there to help people and do the things that he needed to do. Miss Chicago, good morning. But the fact of the matter is, when you're entrapped, you feel that you don't have an option. That's all you know. And if you've been there for a very long period of time, you feel like that's it. That's all you're gonna know. But there's another side to it, everybody. You have to be able to advance to it. You have to take the first step towards it. And like I said, if you've been in darkness all your life and ain't nothing changed in your life, what's wrong with striving towards the light? What do you have to lose? There's nothing for you to lose. What are you gonna lose? You're gonna lose the vision of darkness? The light, maybe for most people, the light is better for you. If you stand out of the sun, you gain vitamin D. What do you get in the darkness? You lose vitamin D. You're losing something by sitting in the dark and not standing in the light. That's why people in Alaska, they go through certain things in life that nobody could understand, because they have periods of darkness all the time, and then they have periods of light all the time. They don't have the balance that we have. Some days it's nice, some days it's not. Some days it's sunny, some days it's not. They go periods of time without knowing something. They go through periods of time without knowing what the nighttime looked like. So 24 hours a day. Could you just imagine 24 hours a day of daylight? You are correct, atmosphere. You lose the feeling of failure when you try, because when you try and you overcome, you're defeated. You have overcome it. But when you try, you can say, I tried. I tried to love this person. They don't receive it. I tried. I tried to give this person advice. They didn't receive it. I tried. You gain more from trying than doing nothing at all. You can break out of your entrapment by trying, because it gives you the jolt that you need to continue to try. Okay, I didn't get out of here this way. Now maybe if I had a little a piece of my nail and I bite it off, it may open up this lock that has me in cage. But if you don't try nothing, you just sit there. Nobody knows the trouble. Nobody will know. Somebody asked me before, what do I get out of going through a situation over and over, telling my situation over and over? What does a pipe get when it finally let that pressure out? It gets the option of freeness. Now things can flow the way that it needs to flow in your mind, your heart, your soul, your body, however you look at it. But as long as you're entrapped, there's nothing flowing in your favor. You have to understand you are too blessed to be in a mess. But if you only know mess, I can't stand you, Lady Shay. If you only know mess, you can't know what a blessing is. And this is the thing that we have to understand. If we truly understand how blessed we are, we shouldn't be in too many messes. It doesn't mean that the enemy's not going to try to oppress your happiness. It doesn't mean that he's not going to oppress your joy or suppress it. It doesn't mean none of that. But the same way you got to fight to get it is the same way you got to fight to come out of your entrapment. You got to fight the same way you think. Listen, I know we all play lotto. I know we all think the dollar in a dream is going to happen to us, but for a lot of us, it's not going to happen. We play it to see if it happens. But in the meantime, ain't stopping to go to work when they play that goddamn that scratch off. Excuse my language. Ain't nobody stopping when they go ahead and play Mega Millions, Powerball. Ain't nobody stopping to go to work because if you was that certain, you would quit that job ASAP. Why? There's doubt. So you, of course, you're gonna have doubt, but you continue to work through the doubt so that way the doubt can get lessened in your life. Same way of the entrapment of your traumas. You got to keep working away from it for it to not be the end all be all in your life, right? So if that's understood, you're gonna continue to work at it. You can't just say, you know what, I tried. No, you got to continue to try. Break the if the people didn't do what they had to do for 7 days, would the walls of Jericho would came down? No. They had faith that they can overcome a certain thing. You gotta have faith that you can overcome your entrapments of the traumas in your everyday life. It does not mean that people are not going to try to keep you in bondage rather. It just means that people are it's people that has that much love and compassion for you that were willing to pull you out. This is why the community is missed. This is why the villages, the tribes, and all of those things are missed. Because if you didn't have it, your neighbor Betty Jane had it, or Tommy had it, or Becky had it, or whatever name you want to use. Your neighbor had it, and I had you. But we became so damn individualized, so slash independent that we think we don't need nobody to get through situations. Let me ask y'all a question. As long as you've been going through your situation by yourself, how has it worked for you? Be honest with yourself. Is it working for you? If it's working for you, God bless you. But I know for sure there are people in this chat that understands what I'm saying. It ain't working in their favor. It's okay to say, yo, I was humbled to ask for help, even if it's from God or your neighbor next to you or somebody here. Like, yo, check this out. Miss Chicago, I need you to pray for me. What's wrong? I don't know. I just need prayer. And I'm willing to receive your prayer. I get it. It may sound out of the ordinary, right? Why would you want me to pray for you? Because sometimes you just want somebody to do something for you that you can't do for yourself. There's cries for help that can't be heard because your mouth ain't moving and your spirit is on a low level. So God can't hear you cry for help, right? So if all of those things are occurring in your life, you go ahead and do what you need to do. Like, give me a second, y'all. Somebody just said, I need all the prayers. If y'all want to type a prayer in the chat, y'all do so, right? I'm gonna do one in real life. Father God, we ask that you help Watermelon get through whatever situation she's going through. I pray that you hear her cries. I pray that her cries are fulfilling to your ears because she needs a breakthrough. She's crying because she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. God, I ask you to hear a prayer and make her be obedient to what it is that you are giving her to do. May she remove herself. May she be the sacrifice to be obedient to whatever it is that you have in store for her to do in order for her to get out of her entrapment stage that she's going through right now. We just ask that you do it, God, because she wants to be a willing vessel. And if she is genuine with her willing vessel, Lord, we know that you will make her a victorious person and not a victim. And as she receives the glory, as she receives the victory, God, we ask that you receive the glory. Amen. That's what I have for you. Now you got to be receptive of the prayer, and whatever God places in your heart, whatever he places on your conscience, whatever he places on your mind, don't be disobedient. If you're going to be disobedient, that prayer was worth nothing, and you will continue to be in your entrapment stage. The prayer is for you to advance. I pray that you advance from your entrapment. It doesn't matter what we want. It matters what you need in order for you to go forward in your advancement. If I'm sick, it don't matter if I'm sick. If I don't get the medicine that I need, if I don't put the vitamins in my body, the body ain't gonna be able to fight it. It's gonna take a little bit longer. But if you work diligently, it can heal a little bit faster than what you're going through. Whether it's a cold, whether it's cancer, whether it's AIDS, there are cures to these things. You gotta understand that the advancement of life can overcome your entrapments. Tay, good morning. What up, Nine? And that's the thing that we have to understand. The advancement could defeat the entrapments, whatever it is, whether it's trauma, whether it's illnesses, whether it's love, whether it's life, whatever it is, financial, whatever it is, the advancement can overcome the entrapment. What does that mean? As long as you pulling away from the entrapment, you're advancing further away from it. You can overcome that. It's up to you to decide if you can overcome it or not. Because at the end of the day, as long as you feel entrapped, you can't advance nowhere. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this thing. If you truly understand that the longer you sit in park, you won't be driving anywhere. You can have the car turned on. You can step on the gas. You can hear the engine rev it up. Vroom, vroom. If it's in park, you ain't moved a muscle. All you doing is wasting time and wasting gas. And gas is expensive now. And so is gas in real life. So is your energy in real life. Whereas Allah wants you to have whatever it is that He has in store for you. You have to be receptive of what He wants for you. You cannot you cannot say, you know what, I hear you, but because anything after but is bull crap. That means it's gonna contradict everything that came before the but. I love you, but you did something that showed that you didn't love me. I care for you, but you did for something that showed me that you didn't care for me. I want to be your friend, but you don't want to be my friend because you just did something to end the friendship. I want to be in on a team, but you did something that made you an individual and not a team player. That's the entrapment mind. That's where but belongs in entrapment. Just say also to add something like that. If you do it like that, you can continue to advance. Is a reason why I say all the time that you improve and not change because you could change for the worse, but only in improvement you could only go up in life. So advancement, you need to improve yourself away from your entrapment. You need to improve yourself. I get it. So something has kept you. I'm afraid of water. So get away from the daggone pool. I'm afraid of heights. Stay on the first floor. But if you want to overcome it, you're going to try it. If you failed, you tried. That's what atmosphere is saying. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Wallen Melanie's healing the tools to get over what hurdles is coming through. Lord, please stand with your grace and your heart and your mercy. Amen. And that's the thing, right? If we all had a genuine want for somebody, it may ramp up their needs to get out of their entrapment. Everybody is everybody is going through something, one way, shape, form, or manner, right? I just want y'all to understand, even though you was born alone, even though you may die alone, there is a fulfillment in life to where people are willing to be in your life to help you, to add, not to take away. Even though there are some soul sappers that are they will zap the hell out of your gifts, your spirit, your love, your compassion, your energy. They will do that, but they're gonna entrap themselves because they're burning the bridge down. They're gonna be entrapped because no one's gonna be willing to help them after a while, right? Even if there's people that entrap people with their goods being evil spoken of. Do you do you know how many times people have used you because you are such a kind-hearted person? You feel entrapped to you may feel obligated to that person. You may feel like you need to be there for that person, and that person could take advantage of it. You not even understanding that you're entrapping yourself because you want to do the right thing. That's your good being evil spoken of. You can entrap yourself by doing the right thing too. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. You can always get caught up by doing the right thing. There may be people banking on you. If you go past the same beggar all the time, he's gonna make sure I see this person every day. I know I'm gonna get me something out of the deal. But he's not even improving himself. So would it be wrong for that person to say, you know what? I think I need to do that. That's something that sometimes you gotta understand right from wrong. Sometimes you gotta understand you entrapped. Somebody's using your kindness as a weakness. We can't be in that type of entrapment either. Entrapment can happen to good people and bad people. 9 times out of 10, it happens to the good person because that kind hearted person could be abused and used all day long and they not even understand what's going on. I'm just doing the work of the Lord and be entrapping yourself. How? Because you're giving up your resources. You're giving away your blessings. You're wasting your blessing on somebody that don't even receive the blessings that you want or that they're receiving. And it could be going to somebody else that's in dire need of it. We have to break the entrapment, y'all. We have to advance from it. We gotta have discernment to understand that we are entrapped in the first place. And a lot of the times we can't do that because we're so low in frequency and vibrations that we don't even know who's talking to us. We may hear a voice inside of us, but it could be not of the God that you serve. It may be a God that you just created and don't even know the difference because you don't have the discernment of understanding. That's just how it is, y'all. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep putting your best foot forward. You got to keep stepping with the intention of getting away from being entrapped. You got to have the steps to understand that I don't want to be in bondage no more. Like even when I do nice things, people they don't take it. They don't accept it. And I am known for still being kind to a person even when they are giving me they hiney to kiss. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure I am. And because somewhere down the line I think I'm heaping coals on their head. Instead of that, I'm being entrapped because they're just taking from me. They're just taking my kindness and using it for their advantage. I'm not gaining nothing out of it. They're just using it for their own satisfaction. They're not even gaining from it. They're just gaining a moment. I'm lying. They're gaining a momentary satisfaction, a momentary joy, and then they go missing. And then, oh, I know who to speak to. Let me speak to him because he always has something nice to say. That's just the truth. Because you want to be that person that not that you want to be the encourager. You just think that there's good in everybody, so they will use your thoughts. They will use your blessings and entrap you into that. Oh, you can't change now because if you change, I got you. I knew you was fake as hell. I knew you wasn't the person that you was proclaiming to be. They do this on this app every day. Even as much consistency as you have shown, there's somebody waiting for you to entrap you to say you was a phony, you was a fake. But as long as you keep advancing, that's a them problem. Your goal is to get out of your problem and not worry about theirs. And even when you do things in the from the kindness of your heart, you still have to have that mentality. And right now, I am speaking to myself because I know I do this a lot. And it just so happens that I'm talking to you guys at the same time. Like I told Real Estate yesterday, even when I point something out, I got three fingers pointed at me. And even when you preaching, you should be preaching to yourself because there's a message in it for you as well. So we have to continue to advance from our entrapment. We have to continue to fight and overcome the fear of not knowing what the great beyond has for us. The great beyond is anything that's outside of what's keeping you in bondage. You have to understand that there is something greater for you out there. We call it advancement. Some people may call it greatness, but whatever it is, it's for each and every one of you. There are 30 or 40-year-old men in lower levels of the UK grind. They bitter, never. But if they bitter, Riaz, you have to stay away from them. You can't allow them to infiltrate your your proximity. You can't allow them to come near you because when they come near you, you know what's going to happen to you. To you personally, you're going to have an oversensory ride, and that's going to be one of those things that I pray that it don't happen, but I be afraid for you because sometimes that oversensory it may shock you into a world that you may never recover from. I prayed for you that Allah doesn't allow that to happen to you, but as long as you keep putting yourself in those predicaments, you're gonna find yourself entrapped in there. I am praying that you stay away from people with those entities in them. You have to stay away from them. You have to go with the flow is. Even I, Riaz, as much as I want everybody to be positive and everybody to have love and everybody to have those things, I live in reality. And I know that's not going to work for everybody. I know everybody's not going to be able to receive that. That is their entrapment zone that they have to get out of. If they really wanted to help, they know how to find you. They know how to find me. They know how to find the people in this chat because nobody here wants nobody to be in doom and gloom. We want people to overcome and find their land of milk and honey. You got to find it. I can't find it for you. I can help you. I can get you out of the. I can help you to find your way north under the through the underground railroad, but you gotta want it. I know where it's at. I've been there. I know what peace is like. If you don't know what peace is like, I can help you get there. I can give you suggestions. I just gave 9 the other day. If anybody's tried it and if it's working for them, they can tell you themselves. My 33 brother, what up, 9? And that's the thing that we have to understand. You have to get away from what's keeping you held bound. You got to understand as long as you trying to be who you are, Riaz, that somebody's going to try and take you down. You going to get entrapped into something that you have no business being involved with. I'm telling you this out of love, and you're a dude. That may be frowned upon with everybody else. I'm not one of them people. I don't really care what people's gonna say if I tell you I love you. I don't care. Sometimes you need to hear that love, and it may sound tough for you. But if it's gonna get you out of that entrapment zone, you need to hear it and go away from it. Stay away from them people. If they don't mean you no good, don't get entrapped into that nonsense because you may not have the way to get out. And ain't nobody going to be throwing no lifelines for you. I'm just keeping it real with you. There are people out here that want to see you fall, and they're not going to offer their hand to pick you up. They're going to leave yourself there. They're going to leave you there and keep laughing at you. You're going to be you're going to be in something that you don't want to be in. I promise you. Listen, I'm telling you, stay away from them corners. Stay out of those lanes. Stay in yours. If you got to throw your cruise control on to stay in your lane, stay in your lane. You ain't got to switch no lanes. There's no cars in front of you. Your road is yours, and it may be limitless for you. That don't mean you got to switch. That don't mean you got to jump around the car. Pace yourself. Don't get off at the wrong exit, Riaz. If you do, you may find yourself lost. And in this conversation, you will find yourself entrapped in something that you don't need to. Man, listen. I'm saying this to say if you continue to advance yourself, you can avoid entrapment. There may not be nobody here to throw down that raft if you stuck in the water. If you know how to swim, you could float for a little bit. But you're gonna need somebody to rescue you still, because you may get tired and fall asleep and go under and drown yourself. You don't like how that goes. I promise you that. There are people that quote unquote unlife themselves because they drowned in their own pool. I mean, they drowned in their own pool, or they drowned in their own bathtub. People don't even have the strength to get out and get in their own beds to fall asleep. Does that sound right to you? Are they going through a trauma that they don't want to be here anymore? I'm just being real with y'all. That's not me. That's life. That's life showing y'all that there's other people that's going through entrapment. They are giving up on themselves. I'm just saying that it shouldn't be you. It should not be you. We all have assignments here. If we're still here, we have fallen short of our assignment. Whatever it is, whether it's to help somebody, teach somebody, whether it's our family, whether it's our loved ones, whether it's our neighbor, whether it's to grow a relationship with a friend or person of the opposite sex or the same sex. That's your preferences. Whatever it is, you are here for a reason. Yet that could be improvement for them. Each person is unique. I only use improvement, Lady Shay, because if you can always change for the worse. Because if you can't, I've never heard anybody improve to be worse. Improvement only means you can go up. This is what I want for everybody. I want everybody to improve themselves from their entrapment into a freedom of mind. So trauma don't live there no more. I don't have the answer. How do I get away from the trauma? The first thing I would say, speak to somebody that's going to listen to you. Whether it's professional, whether you just come on here and just vent it out, it may help you. I know this for sure. If you don't take care of that pipe burst, you're gonna have to deal with a whole line of problems. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Y'all go ahead and don't change y'all go ahead and don't change clean them pipes out in your dryer. When that thing blow up, you ain't gonna be able to dry your clothes in the home no more. You're gonna have to be old school and put a line up. Go ahead and not clean your pipes when it's when that freon is frozen up. Go ahead and play with it and see what happens. Pressure bust pipes, and our pipes in our lives are called veins. Aneurysms can happen. Blood clots will happen. I ain't making this up. Y'all go ahead and not take y'all not clean them clean that line up. I'm telling you, man, somebody gonna go through an aneurysm and I didn't know it was coming. All right. And that's what we have to understand. We have pipes. It's just called veins. Now people are gonna be on blood thinners because the blood clot they ain't last. I mean the blood clot, they had to get rid of the clot. And now they're gonna medicate you forever. All because you didn't want to take care of yourself in the first place. I didn't see the signs. The sign is you're supposed to take care of yourself and you're supposed to advance yourself in the first place before you get entrapped. That's the deal. I didn't know if I eat so much, if I have so much cholesterol, it will build up it'll block it'll clog my veins. Yeah, that's why they tell you to be careful what you eat. If you are what you eat, if you have nothing but cholesterol, you ain't gonna have nothing but cholesterol in you. That's good, Riaz. You could take some tablets, but also you gotta take some. You gotta do something that nature has inside of you, whether it's through fruits for vitamin C, whether it's the sun for vitamin D. You gotta. God is. The Bible says that everything that you need has already been given to you, whether it's through the herbs or it's already been implanted in you. But our problem is we entrap that understanding and don't use it to advance our health. And that's how we do everything. We entrap everything instead of giving it to people that may need it, or giving it to ourselves that needs it. Some say you are what you eat. I say you are what you think. That's it. You can be, and both statements could be true, Lady Shay. Two things could always be true. That means there's not a wrong answer. But if you don't apply neither, that's the wrong answer. You see what I'm saying? If you don't use none of it, you are entrapping yourself from the things that you need. Yes, Riaz, this life is temporary. The question is how do you want to live in this temporary life? Do you want to be free, or do you want to be in bondage, or do you want to be entrapped? That's the thing that you have to ask yourself. You got to ask yourself, am I going to be free or am I going to be in bondage? Whether it's to lust, whether it's to trauma, whether it's to uh, uh, finances, whether it's to a person, you got to ask yourself that. Are you going to be entrapped? Or are you going to be able to be free to advance yourself however it is? Can there be free bondage? No, I don't think so. How could bondage is to be bondage? Bondage is captured. If you capture an animal, can it be free? No. If your mind is in bondage, can it be free? No, it's in bondage. It can't work the way it needs to be. It needs to be free flowing, free thinking, free. And that's the thing. Okay, I mean, I would need you to break that down. Bonded is not bondage. You are in bonds of reality. And what's the reality? That would be bounds than bonds. Like you're in bound of reality. I wouldn't use bond, but if that's how you view it, then that's cool too. But you have to be able to understand, as long as you are entrapped, there's nothing free about entrapment. There's nothing free about being yoked up. There's nothing free about any of these type of situations. Free, like, people feel like we're not free and we're in bondage now. If that's the case, do you understand that people have to pay you have to pay for a license to fish? That is a God given right. They are stripping people of that. We are entrapped from God stricken rights. It's okay, Lady Shay. I love answering your question, but we are stricken from our God given rights. We ain't even allowed. They want you to pay a license to go fishing. How do you do that? You gotta pay for something that they can't even duplicate. You can't duplicate water, but you gotta pay for it. They ain't taking natural things and now we gotta pay for it. We are entrapped. We still entrapped. But the fact of the matter is, we gotta be, we got to advance from all the entrapments. There will be some that we may not overcome, but as long as we advance from it, it's not a hindrance to our everyday life. And that's the thing that we have to understand. Lady Shay, ask Word that question. I ain't even going to try him. He going to try to get me later. He ain't slick, but what I'm saying is that you got to advance yourself from the entrapments of what's holding you down, what's keeping you down. You have to get away from it. Nobody wants to be in bondage. Nobody wants to be told what to do. But when you're entrapped, that's all you can do. Somebody has the keys to your life in their hands. Whether it's fear, whether it's I ain't got nothing to do with that. Whether it's fear, whether it's trauma, whatever it is, you have to understand that has a key to your life. And as long as you don't have the key to life, you are entrapped. I don't care how you view it. I don't care if you view it through spiritual eyes, physical eyes, emotional eyes. I don't care how you look at it. If you don't have that key, you are entrapped. That's just putting it the way that it is. We have to find our way to advance ourselves to get away from the entrapments of everyday life. We got to find our way to get away from the traumas that's holding us down. We have to find a way to get away from the situations that is not keeping us that is keeping us from being free. Tiara, good afternoon. Welcome. That's just the fact of the matter. You have to advance from your entrapment. You gotta find a way to get the key to your lock that is keeping you entrapped. I don't know how. I can't tell you how. You have to do the work. We can always want something for you. We can always want the best for you. But you gotta want it more than we do. We cannot love you more than you love yourself. And if somebody loves you more than yourself, that is a clear cut case that you are entrapped in doom and gloom and misery and sorrow. That's something that nobody wants for anybody. But if somebody loves you that much that they can love you more than you love yourself, you have to come out of there. You have to come out of that entrapment stage. Meek, good afternoon. And that's the thing that we have to understand. As long as you keep pushing, you push yourself away from that darkness into that light that allows you to grow, to elevate, to illuminate your mind, your body, your soul. The entrapment can never hold you in. You have outgrown your entrapment. But as long as you sit there and as long as that key is not given to you to break out of your bondage, the entrapment will always be with you forever. You don't have to be in quicksand. Somebody could be throwing you that lifeline. Grab it. Stop saying because I was born alone, die alone. I have to do everything on my own. That is a bunch of crock. That is bologna with no cheese. And that's a nasty sandwich. I'm just saying that's something that you shouldn't be eating. The fact of the matter is, while you here, somebody is able to give you the advice to say, you know what? Go past go and collect your $200. But the fact is, we are so individualized that we have our own answers. I don't know how that works all the time. If y'all two don't cut it out, I'm just saying though. Let me get back on the thought process. Right? You have to understand, as long as you are entrapped, freeness cannot be around you. You are being kept away from freedom. As much freedom as you can possibly have, you can never get it while you're entrapped. Your thought process cannot be free when you're entrapped because you're only focused on one thing. Your emotions will be trapped because you're only focused on one emotion. The fact that you can be free, you could touch all different aspects of life. That is a blessing. It's never been a curse. Yeah, don't mind her. This is what happened when you start that stuff. But that's just the real deal, guys. I'm just saying, if you understood how much trauma has kept us in a hole, I would know, I would want to know how to get away from that. BDB, what up? How you feeling? How you living? There you go. But that's just the real deal, though. Like, you got to understand, we got to stop enclosing ourselves. We got to stop, like, she's here, so I can say it. She was joking about, she got to come out of her bunker. She know who I'm talking about. And I was like, you said it. Sometimes when you give this advice, you have to do it yourself. It has to involve you. You have to speak to yourself at the same time. And like I was saying earlier, because some of you just got here, you can be entrapped with your own kindness. You got to know there are limits to life. You got to understand that even your kindness could get you in bondage to someone that don't even deserve it, and they will use you like ugh. They will use you like you don't exist. That's draining. Just imagine a person that don't have that kindness being drained. What do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to be drained, and you're going to be entrapped in that because you think you're doing the right thing because your good is going to be evil spoken of. Balance is the key, guys. There are going to be good days and bad days. But the bad days doesn't mean every day is going to be bad, and the good days don't mean every day is going to be good. But if you keep advancing towards something that's to your benefit, 9 times out of 10, it'll keep you away from the thing that's going to keep you defeated. It's going to keep you out of a deficit. You guys got to do all the work. You guys got to understand what's keeping you bound, what's keeping you in bondage, what's keeping you trapped and feeling the way that you feel. Excuse me. It's not up to nobody else but you. But at the end of the day, you got to want to do what's best for you. And I believe that advancing from your entrapment is always the best attribute for each and every one of us that are here. So I truly appreciate the fact that you guys came to hear me. I don't know. Sometimes there may be a rebuttal that just come out of the clear blue sky. I don't know. But I just want you guys to truly understand, as long as you advance from your entrapment, you can get away from it. It doesn't have to be the end all be all. You don't have to sit in your trauma. Yeah, you're right. What does that 9 mean though? But anyway, You gotta, but we do truly have to understand. I know there are people that are going through something right now. I know that there are people that feel like they are, they are. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. But you don't know if you standing still and you're not going towards the end of the tunnel. If you standing still, how you know if you made advancement? You don't even know if you moved. You might feel like you took a step and went backwards. You don't know, but you're not advancing nothing. You got to advance from your entrapment. You, if you in jail, you got days to count down, but you got to do something. You would put some cheese on the bologna and make it taste good. Atmosphere. You should do a cooking channel about. You should do a cooking session about that. Each day you open your eyes, breathe, and say, "I am beautiful." I got a better one for you, Leah. I'm a add on to that. Every day that you open your eyes, say, "I am thankful that I can do something better than I did yesterday." Say that I am going to do something that I did better than yesterday. Because when you put that "I am" in front of it, it should give you the energy to try to achieve that. That's like a person that's looking for a job. I am going to fill out an application. I am going to fill out something for employment. I am going to go and look for a job. Who knows? You might step out the door and somebody may be just sitting there. Hey, you want a job? All right, come right here to the corner. I'll let you work at the store. Or you could be singing on your way to fill out an application. Hey, I need you to do a jingle for me. You don't know what you have, but if you know that you have affirmation in your soul, you should be using it. It'll break you from your entrapment. That's the end all that I have for you guys. That's what you need to do. Here you go. This is what I'm talking about. Yo, BDB, don't listen to this dude. This dude, he be doing too much. I would tell y'all to go check word replay and see if he's telling the truth. Yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead and see what because at the end of the day, if you wrong, you could learn from your mistakes, and if you're right, you help somebody. There ain't nobody gang up on y'all. Cut it out, man. Ain't nobody gang up on this dude. And then, well, I'm gonna be a simp then. The girls ganged up on him. I ain't had nothing to do with it. How about that? There you go, Lady Shay. You know what it was. But that's just the thing, right? As long as you have somebody willing to help you, teach you, uh, 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 help you to get out of your doldrums, that should be a plus. Nobody should be running away from people that wants to help them. If that's what you're doing, that's a clear tell that you are entrapped. And the fact that you don't trust nobody, that should be another thing that you're entrapped. Because people could be doing things for you to get out of that entrapment just to see you get out of your entrapment. There may not be an ulterior motive, but the fact that you feel that way, it shows you that their trauma is keeping you encaged. Yeah, he is. Oh, BDB, he got a new nickname. His name is what his new name is Master Splinter. They say. Yeah, HR. I don't know if HR is here. But that's just the thing, guys. Nah, I'm being for real though. We have to really get away from this entrapment stage of our life. We are being kept away from the freest times, the most adventurous time, the joyous time, all because we are afraid of what happened to us before. We can't change yesterday. We can improve on today and work on tomorrow. But because we're so stuck in our entrapment, yesterday, our yesterdays will be becoming our everydays, and that's not a good place for us to be. Yo, atmosphere. This guy. Let me tell you. Hold on. All right. Let me cut. Let me stop the show real quick. Let me stop the show. I ain't gonna stop the show. I'm gonna stop talking about what I'm talking about. Anybody that knows the word, y'all know the word be saying some things, right? Now, yesterday he said some things that gave these young ladies some fuel to add to the fire, but then he ain't claim it. You understand? So when they got at him, he like, wait a minute, that ain't what I'm saying. So I went into BDB mode. I was just asking questions. I was a moderator. That's what I was doing. Yeah, that's him, Professor Petty. Harvey Two Face. Yeah, all of that. That's him. But that's the thing that we have to understand. Like with word, we have to understand his intent is not his intent, but sometimes it just happens. That's just him. You know what I mean? But for those that didn't, for those that don't know what we're talking about, y'all go on Words page, y'all catch the replay. We was on there for a while, but y'all skim through it and see if he's right or he's wrong. Because somebody came in was like, wait a minute, this ain't right. Somebody else was like, this is right, and it was about women, red flags. What was it? Red flags that women are not ready for a relationship. Now tonight he said he's gonna do something about the men. He already word. Did you put that up as a poll yet? Are men more valuable than women? Go ahead and put that up on your community wall. Let's see what the people say. But that's for the word channel. Red flags in relationships. Yeah, for a woman. That yesterday was for women. Today's supposed to be for men. But but in all seriousness, those red flag things, those red flag things. If you don't see those red flags, guess where y'all going though? Y'all gonna be entrapped in a situation you don't want to be in. You know what, Lady Shay? You want time out? Go to HR. You. That's it. The lady was on my. No, they was not. They was. Yo, somebody please check this replay because he tripping. Him and Lady Shay was at it from the gate. He said one thing. She came up there. She just asked questions. I ain't said nothing. So yeah, guys. But I'm about to finish this off. I've been up here a little bit too long. I appreciate everybody showing up. I hope this was a serious conversation. There were some things that happened. I pray that people are overcoming their entrapment because throughout this live there was people asking for prayers and things like that. So I truly do hope that okay, I truly hope that there are people that's overcoming their entrapment and allow themselves to be free and just because man you're gonna get sick and tired of being enclosed and caged. Nobody, if no animal wants to be in cage, what does that mean for us? We don't want to be in cage. But as long as we keep allowing these traumas to overcome and become victorious in our lives, we are always going to be entrapped. So we have to advance from that. So with that being said, I truly appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope this resonated with somebody. Until next time, guys, I'm out.